what's actually going on in Venezuela between them and the US. Nobody could actually know amongst the common public. Even most people in positions of authority have been misled or lied to. One thing that's for sure, if you think for a fact you know the truth, you're a dumb cunt. Especially if that truth came from your TV set. If you believe it has anything to do with drugs, you're a dumbass. The most stupid fucking organism on this planet. Yeah, this is my opinion based on facts that I know. America did a deal with the Saudis in 1945 called Oil for Security deal. What this means is that worldwide, all oil must only be purchased or sold in US dollars. Venezuela is a member state of BRICS, and they are selling oil to China in exchange for yuan. Hence, the power of the US dollar is degrading rapidly. China is also building mass infrastructure in Venezuela. Huawei is building their new internet network, for example. China is getting them all electrified and with running water and stuff. America doesn't like this, building up Venezuela, and they're selling oil not with your money. Like, how is that fair to America? That some cunt does business on this planet without them getting a cut. That's what it's about. America is a disgusting and filthy imperialist nation. Most American people are quite lovely. So lovely that they nod their empty head at the TV like a sheep and think that their government actually means well for the world. You don't. The ones that make me angry are the Americans that know what's going on and know it's about oil and it's about US domination. That makes me angry because you know exactly what you are. You're like a filthy Roman slaughtering a German peasant or some shit and feeling good about yourself. The ones that amuse me are, America could never fall. America's always ruled the world. Like, these cunts know nothing of history. If you think American empire is forever, you are just as stupid as the member of every other globally dominating empire 5 minutes before their empire fell. Every time American says, oh, America will never fall, America will rule the world forever, I feel like, fuck, you're a dumb cunt. You're literally the dumbest cunt that I could imagine talking to. And every time I say that, I speak to somebody that is even less intelligent, like even less logical in their thoughts. And when I say, so what makes different about America, what makes them different to every other fucking globally dominating empire that has fallen? And they say, we've got the nuke. Like, fucking 12 countries have the nuke now. It's not the game changer you fucking think it is. It's because we've got the most powerful military. Actually, you have record low recruitment numbers, record high drug epidemic levels. What the fuck are you talking about? You're going to force draft people into your army when World War III comes. This is the best way for it all to end, I think, in my opinion. America needs to be attacked on its own ground. I trust other countries to not drop a nuke first, because only America's that filthy. America needs to be attacked on its own ground. All of America's enemies need to make a combined land invasion effort of America. It used to be there was a rifle behind every blade of grass, but it's not like that in America anymore. Yep. A land invasion of America is what needs to happen. No, I don't mean poor people that heard your bring us you're hungry, bring us you're tired, bring us you're sick, but they got the message a little bit too late because you closed your doors. I don't mean those poor people that are desperate. I mean an actual land invasion. Yeah? Like every Mexican with a gun should just go and assault America at the same time that China and Russia encircle them. And even Canada should have a go, because you know what? After your threats on Canada and shit, Canada should take advantage of any opportunity it can to weaken America. Fuck, Denmark should come and reciprocate because you threatened them as well. Yeah? Maybe Israel, your greatest ally, can save you. America needs to fall. It needs to happen. And it is as good as history that is already written. The question is just when. When will it happen? But it is going to happen. Attacking Venezuela the way you have just proves that you've learned nothing, America. Vietnam version 2 will serve you no better than version 1 did. Anybody who believes TV, you're a fucking idiot. Beyond that, you have the right to your own opinions on what's going on. But if you believe it's anything to do, if anything you believe is similar to what the TV is saying, then you're a dumb cunt. Your mainstream media exists to control your perceptions, to control your hearts and minds. They do not exist to divulge facts to you or tell you truth. That is all from me today for my rant. Most people probably didn't listen to it all. Probably think, oh, who's this fucking idiot? How dare he speak against America? Fuck the American Empire. If the people of America don't rise up to destroy their own government, a land invasion from all their enemies is the only thing that will stop this madness without a nuclear war. Yes. If America was gone overnight, I'd wake up tomorrow and nothing in my life would change. Oh, but you need America. What for? For all that imaginary shit we think you need America for. Yeah, fuck off. Nobody needs America. Everybody needs America gone. The only thing we need from America is to stop being fucking American. As I said, it's not an insult to every genuine American person. It's an insult to America as a world power, as a government, as an empire. You can destroy your own empire. Remember what George Bush said about Iraq? The Iraqis aren't blameless in this.
Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Rakah Kodash. Double honor unto the apostles and the elders of the great millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations unto the hopeful elect, beginning with the 144,000 men. A quick video, America, will be destroyed. All right, America will be destroyed. It's as good as written. All right, and you see the video here. This guy by the name of Cowie, funny name. He went into it, but he's 100% correct. He said it's as good as written. And he was talking about how they're going into Venezuela and whatnot. He touched on a lot of things. Spoke about the mass media, believing in mass media, that's just to control your mind, which we already know and we always speak about. All right, from the elder apostles on down. All right, and America is just angry that its hegemony is ending. All right, and anybody who threaten their hegemony, they hold on the world through the dollar as being the world reserve currency of the world. Basically they went in and attacked them, they took them down. All right, going into Gaddafi, going into Saddam Hussein, all these men tried to set up their own monetary systems and whatnot and trade without the US dollar. So when they upset Big Brother US. All right. Okay. So what they did, they came in and they took them down. All right. Now you here have Venezuela now selling oil to China for the yuan, to get yuan, which is strengthening the Chinese economy. And at the same time, you're hearing there's a lot of buzz going on that that China and Japan are dumping US Treasury bonds, right, which will further sink the US. So the US is through. All right, the unfair advantage, the unfair balance of their hegemony in the world, which would hegemony. Let's get that meaning first before going to that. All right. Hegemony, meaning
hegemony.
Right, it says leadership or dominance, especially by one state or group over others. All right, supremacy, dominion, dominance, and this is what control, power, mastery, sway, rule, and this is what they are. They rule is over the empires, over the revised Roman Empire. Right, the beast. The America is that whore that sits upon the beast. All right, going into Revelation, the 17th chapter, her rule is over, is through. That advantage that they had that they set up, to sell oil only for US dollars, basically creating they weren't making the money a commodity that needed to be purchased by all nations of the world just to buy other commodities like oil. All right, which is unfair. It says Proverbs 11:1. It says a false balance is abomination to Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. And that's exactly what the US dollar is, a false balance. All right, but a just weight is his delight. That's right. So we have to understand what these devils are up to. And if you're simple, as the guy said, he said it in different words, but at the end of the day, he's on point. You had to be really dumb, right? If you just believe in what you're being told, and a lot of people are just dumb. They really have no idea whatsoever, that of what's really going on. They have no idea of what's going on. Let me see if I get a couple more precepts. Proverbs 20 and 23. Diverse weights are an abomination unto the Lord, and a false balance is not good. All right? A false balance is not good. So the Lord telling you that. And this is exactly what America has been exercising for the past over 50 years. All right? Micah, let's see. Micah 6:10. Are there yet the treasures of wickedness in the house of the wicked, and the scant measure that is abominable? All right? Shall I count them pure with the wicked balances, and with the bag of deceitful weights? Yeah, that's what they are. All right? Okay, now let's start in the NLT. Micah 6:10. What shall I say about the homes of the wicked, filled with treasures gained by cheating? Right, the American system is a giant Ponzi scheme. Selling their debt to nations, right, through their treasury bonds. Okay, because why? They're in debt, they're in thick clay. I believe is the word abtit in Greek, right? That thick clay, all right, which means heavy debt. Weight of pledges. All right, they've been living in credit. The Bible speaks about living on credit. All right. What about the disgusting practice of measuring out grain with dishonest measures? How can I tolerate your merchants who use dishonest scales and weights? All right. The rich among you have become wealthy through extortion and violence. Your citizens are so used to lying that their tongues can no longer tell the truth, right? That's the lies. All right? They go about talking lies, talking about democracy, talking about fair play, when they ain't doing shit. But now, basically the money is through. All right? Now the money is through, and they're trying to, they bring in this digital currency to save what they could save, but it's too late. It says James 5:1. Go to now, you rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. Your riches are corrupted, and your garments are moth-eaten. Your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire. Right, as the fire they're gonna launch on you. As the guy Cowie was saying, you were saying that you think you have the nuke, but over 12 nations have nuke now. As the scripture say, let the weak say I'm strong. All right, they're now strong. So you no longer have that competitive advantage that you used to have. The nations are no longer afraid of you. But guess what? They're coming out. They're coming out in defiance. All right? Your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh, all right, as it were fire. You have heaped treasure together slack for the last day. So this is the end for America. And as the guy was saying, rightfully so, it's true. They're like the Romans, all right, which were Edomites, and they went throughout the lands conquering, and subjugating people, stealing their resources, you name it. This is what these characteristics are what, make it known that, America and the EU and the NATO is a revised Roman Empire. All right. And that beast that had a deadly wound and was healed. All right. Now that wound, is coming back. They're about to be taken down by the Lord, Yahbashim Yahushai, through Yahushai Mashiach, Jeremiah 51. And first and foremost, through this word, the word of Yahushai, right? Jeremiah 51 and 7. In fact, let me read from verse 6. It says, "Flee out of the midst of Babylon, and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. Babylon had been a golden cup in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai's hand, that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad." They fed up of this bitch, this whore. Alright? So now they're coming out for her. It says, "Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her, take balm for her pain. If so, she may be healed." Right? We would have healed Babylon, but she's not healed. No more stimulus money, that money that you pump into Babylon gonna heal her. Right? No, it's not an open gaping wound. No bandages gonna band that up. No band-aid on that could band that up. Alright? So forsake her, and let us go everyone into his own country, for her judgment had reached unto heaven, and is lifted up even to the skies. Alright? And that means the nuclear missile is gonna hit it. So the Lord set a trap for Babylon. And Babylon, as the scripture say, had been taken. Right? Jeremiah 50 and 23. "How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How is Babylon become a desolation among the nations?" Right? Because, Russia, China, Iran, all these world powers now are coming together, financially, and, military-wise, and they're going to come up against her. All right? And that's the majority of the economic power of the world right there. Okay? So even the NATO and EU members, they're going to be watching that as well. And they're going to realize, shit, the power is shifting. Well, who's shifting that power? Well, it's Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, the Lord. Alright? It says, verse 24, "I have laid a snare for their trap, and thou art also taken, O Babylon. And thou wast not aware, thou art found and also caught, because thou hast striven against the Lord." Well, how did they do that? Because through their wickedness. The freaking Pharaohism, the lesboism, all right, the adultery, all right, the idolatry, worshiping false idols, witchcraft, you name it, they done it. Right? Verse 25, it says, "Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai had opened his armory and brought forth the weapons of his indignation. For this is the work of the Lord power of hosts in the land of the Chaldeans." Right? It says, "Come against her from the utmost border, open her storehouses, cast her up as heaps, and destroy her utterly. Let nothing of her be left." And this is what they're going to, Babylon is going to be invaded. But the nuclear missiles are going to be used. And very likely, they're going to launch it first against America. America's missiles not going to work. The scriptures talk about that. Alright? Verse 27, it says, "Slay all her bullocks, let them go down to the slaughter. Woe unto them, for their day is come, the time of their visitation." Alright? The time of their visitation. So America is going to be destroyed utterly. Alright? Don't be fooled, understand the time that you're in, and arise and depart. This is not your rest. Even if you're in Babylon, you don't have to leave physically, but at the end of the day, you're spiritually wise, you depart from the ways of Babylon, the wickedness of that place. Alright? Micah 2 and verse 10. It says what? "Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted," right? "It shall destroy you even with a sore destruction." Right? That's why you say, arise and depart. Repent and be converted. Alright? The time is short. Everything is moving fast. Don't wait. There's not going to be time. Alright? So I pray this lesson was edifying. America will be destroyed. Till next time, Shalom wa Harag Babal.